Good afternoon. Yo, refresh your browsers, y'all, because today is Friday. Uh-oh, you know what that means.
Oh, no.
December 9th, 2011, and you are listening to Room 3026 Live.
Live.
Episode 418.
What?
A 60-minute conversation. Yeah, you heard that right. 418, y'all. A 60-minute conversation ranging from topics like technology all the way over there to pop culture and probably
points in between.
Everything else in between, like you say. I am your host, Damond Nollan. We are broadcasting live right here in Durham, North Carolina.
What time is it and where is we is?
It is lunch hour, and we are in the Onyx Tower.
Excellent.
Today, my co-hosts are Mr. Derek Brinson.
Stay funky, my friends. Now at worldsfunkiestman.com.
Oh, gosh. Does it ever end? And Mr. Michael Render.
How does it?
And as always, we encourage your participation. You can join the conversation by calling us right now via the telephone at 646-929-2689. Again, that's 646-929-2689. If you're online with Skype or Google Voice, you can also join us that way for free. It's an entirely free telephone call. You can do it right now. 646-929-2689. Also, if you're online, you can also chat with us right now at the chat window found at blogtalkradio.com/Damond Nollan. Click on today's episode. It has a big red live on the air. That's where we are. And that's where the chat room is located. Let me give a special thanks to Mr. Darren Tyler for providing our theme song. It is entitled Without You.
Boy Wonder Funk.
Which reminds me that without you, we would not be where we are today. So thank you very much for what you do. We really do appreciate it. Now let me turn to the chat room and say hi to those who are with us right now walking into the room. Let me say hi to Alan Tran, the man. How's it go, sir? We also got Black Bones in the house.
Back from yesterday.
He's back quite a few times now. It's a pleasure to have you here. We also got Dyslexic in America. That's LL.
He's funky.
Eileen Smith is in the house as well. Good to see you, ma'am.
Ooh, love.
And to all of you listening live in an archive, whether you're listening from your telephones, whether you're listening from an archive show, it doesn't matter. We really appreciate you. And thank you for hanging out with us today because we have a great show lined up today. I'll tell you this much. It's always a pleasure to have guests in the room with us. And we have two outstanding guests, which we will get to in just a little bit. But we're going to have a great discussion, and we want you guys to enjoy it as well. Don't forget that you can participate with us in this conversation. You can always call the number.
We thrive
also,
on that kind of thing.
You can also go to Facebook. You remember Facebook. You can go in there right now and put in your topic of discussion for today. Go into our Facebook page. There's already a story out there that someone would like to discuss. You can add your own, or you can vote on the ones you like. So go ahead and do that now. Now, before we begin, let me turn to you guys. So how's your day going so far, Mike and Derek? How's it going?
It's going.
Friday is its own excuse.
To enjoy the weekend is right around the corner.
We're also enjoying the leftovers from yesterday's mixer.
Yes, I see that our guests are even enjoying those.
That's a good thing.
We've made a special trip out there this morning.
Archbishops of Blunt Street actually playing on Blunt Street itself this evening at Tirnanog Tavern. It is reggae, ska music. It's just us, no opening band. We go long and strong this evening if you've got a taste for some reggae, ska, and or alcohol.
I guess you got to know what...
don't do it,
That
man.
looks like fun.
Man, stop it. I see where you're surfing. I see your
What's the
mouse. Like,
problem?
stop doing that.
I don't understand.
Look, this is like the third or fourth Friday in a row that you've done this. Now stop it.
What? This is Friday.
Yes.
It's our celebration of Friday.
It's your celebration on Friday.
This is what we do on Friday.
That's what you do. Oh.
You know what this is.
This is actually the viral video of the year, according to Mashable.
And I'm going to make it the viral video of 2012.
Because you hate me, that's why.
Uh-oh. You ready, Mike? Mike, you about ready to do this?
No, I've never, ever been ready to do
Come
this.
on, Mike.
I don't want to go anywhere.
Here it goes. Uh-oh. It's Friday. Getting ready for the weekend.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Hi.
Friday.
No.
Friday. Finna get my weekend on.
All right. into the weekend.
Party.
Fun,
Stop it.
Fun. Oh, yeah.
Man, see, you need to stop that.
Yeah,
Boy, I got my Friday in now. My weekend can now begin officially.
Man,
Thank you, Rebecca Black.
you just need to stop that.
No, that's how we start our Friday.
No, that's not.
That's
We don't
how
have to do
it.
this.
We do have to do this.
We don't have to do this.
Oh, so anyway, so what happened
I'm
last night?
disappointed that we do this.
Was there any games on last night that I should be aware of?
Yeah, the football Thursday game
Really?
that nobody can watch unless you got cable.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I
I got
have
cable and I missed it. So
You got the NFL Network?
Oh, no.
See?
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah.
So who won?
Which is, I don't know.
Who played?
How did Duke do? Did I
Pittsburgh
talk about
and-
Duke the other day? Did they do well?
Don't know.
Because Mike, what was the
Did
score
we
for
already
the
talk
Duke
about
game?
that?
I was just wondering, what was the Duke score on that exactly?
Oh, man, so
I
my
forget.
fantasy
I know
team
they-
that
I
backed
think they
into the
won like by
playoffs, so
20
we're
or something
already.
like that.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Nothing. My fantasy team, which kind of backed its way into the playoffs.
Just got booted out the playoffs.
No, I just got some players locked down that I didn't want locked down. Boo! No one told me there's a Thursday night game.
Oh, too late.
It's not that bad, but
Too late.
doggone it. I hate it when they do that.
Too bad. So last night, let me tell you. So last night I had to do some work at church last night, right? And I'm walking in. We're setting up new lights for this weekend, which
Man, I'm
is
playing Demetrius
pretty
in the playoffs
awesome.
too. Rats.
Yeah. And I'm wearing a suit. And I'm wearing this. First of all, I'm trying to avoid the whole conversation about you going to the playoffs at all.
Well, that's because I beat the formerly
I
undefeated
mean,
Nolan
somebody
Knights.
got to go to the playoffs, though. It can't just be you.
Someone had to beat the Nolan Knights at the last game of the season to deny the undefeated regular season. Someone had to do it.
Can I just say I was 10-0.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was.
10-0.
Was.
And
You're welcome, Fantasy League.
And the
You're
team,
welcome.
they had, 4-6. Snuck me.
I don't understand why you announced their record.
4-6.
Because
the other team's record
I
really
think-
doesn't. They could
because-
be undefeated too, and it wouldn't matter.
My major players were hurt. See, that's what happened.
See, that is what happened to me all season.
That's
You
what
simply do not get to whine about injuries at this point.
I'm just saying the reason why you're even seeing a championship game right now.
Wait. You see what? You see this?
The only reason
That's because you got the violin cannon. I can make
Okay.
my own.
I'll help you. What were you saying?
See,
Yes.
he's trying to put the violins on you, Derek.
No, he's the one that got
Go
the
ahead.
violin.
What were you saying?
Oh, poor David. He's like 4 whole 6 games ahead everyone in the league and had a couple of injuries. And
And keep in mind, in 1 week too, just 1 week. That's all it was. Just 1 week of injuries. That's it. And he's upset.
that's the Turbo Huffies cannon right
That's
there.
the Huffies. That's what you get. So yeah. So anyway, any big plans this weekend, Mike?
Wait. You were talking about a church and you had a suit on.
Yeah, well, this weekend we're setting up some new lights and stuff, and I was pretty excited because I know nothing about lights, and I'm the leader of the light team, right?
Not unlike our little radio
I
program.
know, absolutely. I just push buttons. I just go like this until something works, and then when the lights come on, like, oh, it works, and let there be light.
Very much like
So,
a radio program.
yeah.
Cool. So you have the kind of
Yeah.
gift for falling
faking
into,
it, right?
for falling into things and making it work. Man, that's a gift.
But the lights did come on, so I guess that works. As long as the lights come on and go off when I need to.
There were no fires.
No fires. The church is still there.
Okay, but were people like sweating up under the lights and stuff like that?
People were sweating, and I'm in the back going, "Hey, the light works."
Roasted.
While they're hanging up from these rafters up here.
Well, very much like our little
Okay,
radio program.
that
This
one's
is
not working. You need to change the light bulb on that one.
It's an iterative effort.
There you go.
You just kind of perfect the
Yeah.
process en route. That's
Yeah.
on the job training. That's thinking on your feet.
Thank
You the
you.
man. You the man.
Thank you. I
Man,
work hard for that.
By the way, just to answer your question, Duke beat Colorado State
Oh,
87-64.
look at that.
I mean, what you think was it's Colorado
that's-
State?
That's
Oh,
great.
so that didn't stop you from from Carolina.
But did not-
rolling,
hold on,
rolling
hold on,
up
hold on,
a
hold
skull
on.
on a high school team.
My thing is, Derek, how you gonna forget what I said the day they was gonna play? Didn't I say they was playing a
I
no
am
name?
old. That gives me the right to be forgetful.
Well, just to remind you, they was playing a no name. The only good thing about Colorado State, they were the number one, or they had the highest 3-point percentage in the country up until they played Duke. And then Carolina plays today, and then
Who they play?
I don't know, somebody, Washington, I think.
Man, they have padded their schedule with the scrubs.
And Derek,
like
remember
they always
that?
do.
Remember, I said they're playing Washington the next time we talk about who they played.
Oh yeah.
Just like how you didn't do just now. But anyway, North Carolina Central plays NC State tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
That's going to be some fun.
Yeah, so
That bad
that's
boy
what's
is
going
way
down
sold out, by the way.
this weekend. And then also Crosstown Shootout. University of Cincinnati Bearcats is playing Xavier tomorrow at 12. So I gotta catch that from my hometown. So,
Yes.
yeah, go Bearcats. Even though you probably never ever will go to the finals.
Well,
so yeah.
not as long as there's a cackalack.
Well, what the season they were supposed to go, they was going through everybody.
Some ball clubs up this way in case you ain't heard.
Yeah, ask what happened in '99.
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
that's all
this
I'm
guy.
saying.
Were you born in 1999? For Pete's sake.
I was a junior. I was a junior in high school, so leave me alone.
Good gracious.
Yep.
Dude. Okay, so
So anyway, let us change gears for a second.
Come on.
Let's go to Daily Booth. Just pull out your cameras. Let's see what you guys are up to.
take pictures, upload them to dailyboost.com. What it look like? What are you wearing?
We call this Daily Booth because you can go there and take pictures. Go to www.dailybooth.com. Take a picture with your webcam, with your cell phone, or you can just upload a picture, whatever is easiest for you. And then once you do, you can share that with us in the chat room. And if you're not listening live and you happen to be listening to this after the fact, it's always okay to share your pictures with us. You can go there as well.
dailybooth.com and then follow us.
That's right.
Almost the same thing.
That's right.
Almost the same thing.
And
except for
let us
mine's the
know
real-time
you are
element.
a Room 3426 live listener, and we will follow you back. So go on over there right now to Daily Booth and pull up your picture. Mike Render, I'm hoping that you posted one with your Instagram today.
No, I posted it with my Daily Booth.
Oh.
Oh, he's got the app, the native app.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he finally updated it. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
So we got two pictures today. Let's pull up the first one. This is Mike Render saying TGIF. Let me share this
I
one
should
with
have
you
said my
guys.
Flipboard screen. That's what I should have said. Matter of fact.
just wait.
This is Mike
Just
Render sitting next to me. You can see that he has a different set of light than he usually has. And then I'll share a picture with you with our guests who are in the room. And you'll be talking to them in just a moment. But in case you want to see what they look like, you can.
Clearly, they're going to be tired. They must be tired of us by now.
Well, I hope not. We still got another hour. Come on. All right, here's the other picture you guys can check out as well. Thank you, Mike Render, for sharing that. And Eileen and the rest of y'all, feel free to post yours as you get them. And while you do, let us move on to share this one story that has come in today. This is what we call Blog Roll. And Blog Roll is when we take a look at what you guys are writing, what you're putting out there.
Rolling
With
of your
the
posts.
posties.
My post? You got my post up?
It's only one, yeah.
Okay.
Your post. Blog Roll.
Posts.
When we take a look at what you guys are writing, what you're putting out there into the blogosphere.
That's right.
Today we have one that it's a treat to have one to come from Derek Brinson.
WorldsFunkiestMan.com.
If you've ever come into our office ever and you've seen, the first thing you'll typically see is, well, Derek's screen. And he has some really interesting screen, what do you call them? Wallpapers.
desktops.
Yep. They
Yeah.
change every 20 to 30 seconds. You'll find a Matisse and a Picasso, and then there's weird stuff from time to time. Just
the
stuff.
things that says, what is that? I've done that the other day. He had one. I had to stop and say, what is that? What does that do? So anyway, he wanted to share one with you. This one is, as he calls, bringing home the proverbial bacon.
That's the rules. If someone comes in and makes a comment about the wallpaper, then it goes up to WMD, better known as Woo, my desktop.
Bacon.
Bacon. Why you, Mr. Brinson? Why you got bacon on your desktop?
I don't know. It makes
Because
me
it's
hungry.
good.
Bacon makes me hungry. Here's a picture of that. You can download it to your wall, and you can check his out. Make sure you stay connected to his blog as he writes very passionately about other topics as well besides just bacon.
Yep, I'm going to expand my scope. Next,
And with
in the
his
coming
new
year.
domain name.
WorldsFunkiestMan.com.
Yeah, sounds a
How'd
little
you
something
get
like
that?
that. He just got it.
Stay funky, my friend.
This is
That's
new-
how I got
his
it.
new brand. The world's funkiest man. All right, let's change gears yet again. Let's go into our feed watch for today. Feed watch.
Feed watch.
Feed watch sounds like this.
Click the button. Feed watch. Feed watch. What is Feed watch?
Well, thank you for asking.
Yes, what do we do?
Feed watch is where we constantly comb the blogs
Why?
so that you don't have to.
Giving us what?
We give you the news that you can use because that's what we do.
I see.
So you best not snooze. You will not lose unless,
What would
of
happen?
course, you like singing the blues.
That would be like you and the fantasy football team earlier?
A boo-hoo. Here are all the details on the new Spotify radio, Read It and Weep, Pandora. It comes from business.
That would be weeping like the fantasy football thing we had earlier.
See.
What?
Coming from Business Insider, Spotify founder Daniel Ek hinted at Spotify Radio, a potential Pandora killer, earlier today at Le Web in Paris. But now we have some concrete details on it. You can create unlimited stations just like you would with Pandora. Pick a song you like, and Spotify creates a station of similar music. It allows for unlimited song skips if you encounter a song you don't like. This is a huge advantage over Pandora, which has limited song skipping abilities. And of course, it has access to all of Spotify's 15 million tracks. It will be available to free and paid Spotify users when it rolls out in the next few days.
I like that. If you like these guys, you'll surely like these other guys. Pandora's turned me on to lots of really cool new artists that way that I don't see myself having been exposed to otherwise.
Well, now you got Spotify.
So Spotify's going to get down like that?
That's right.
Cool.
Facebook page administrators get improved menu coming from all Facebook. Facebook has eliminated an extra click for administrators of multiple pages who wish to navigate the site using one of their aliases. Those who administer more than one page can now see them all listed in the same pull-down menu in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
I'll bet that's convenient.
Previously, the pull-down said, use Facebook as page, and selecting that would bring up a pop-up window for admins to choose among the pages they run. Motorola wins Europe-wide sales ban against the iOS.
Uh-oh.
Coming from Gizmodo, Apple just found itself on the receiving end of some legal hurt.
The first big victory in the worldwide patent wars.
Motorola has successfully sued Apple in Germany, paving the way for a Europe-wide sales ban on basically all iOS devices. Motorola Mobility, which I think is owned by Google, has won its first of 2 patent infringement cases against Apple, both of which were filed back in April. This grants them an injunction against all of the products which infringe. No big deal. That only includes the iPhone, iPhone 3G, iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, the original iPad 3G, iPad 2 3G, and if you're feeling smug because you didn't see the first iPhone 4S in there,
Why you such
it's only because this was filed back in April.
No, it's because you are an Apple hater. That's why.
But it's a pretty safe bet that the 4S includes the offending technology too. Needless to say, this is a potentially major blow against Apple.
It really is.
Picasa now shares photos on Google+, adds more photo effects and side-by-side picture viewing. Coming from Lifehacker, Picasa 3.9 finally has great integration with Google+, allowing you to easily upload and share photos on the service and tag friends. Even if you don't use Google+, you might want to download the update for new editing features. There are 24 new photo editing effects in Picasa, as well as side-by-side mode so you can compare photos, useful when photo editing. The biggest new update is the Google Plus integration. There's a Share on Google Plus green button now at the bottom of the program, which leads to a form for sharing the photo and adding to a Google Plus album. That, my friends, is the news that you can use for Friday, December 9th, 2011.
Groovy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far in, don't forget you can go over here to Facebook right now and vote on your topic of discussion for today, assuming we can get to that. Let me share this link with you right here. And while you do that, let's listen to an announcement from
Our friends,
our sponsors, our weekend show.
Our spinoff.
Join us this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, as we record the latest episode of the Tech Monks podcast, discussing topics such as technology, entertainment, and the startup culture. For details on joining us live, visit techmonkspodcast.com/live.
All right. Thank you, Tim Arthur, for putting that together, sir. Yep. Before we get to any of that, though, I want to introduce
Finally.
some guests. And I have to switch gears for a second. Thank you, Tim Arthur, as he joins us. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
Hey, buddy.
Yesterday, Virginia Tech University once again experienced a fatal shooting on its campus. This time, it involved the death of a police officer named Derek Krause. The Collegiate Times reports that students and employees at Virginia Tech University knew about the gunman on campus just minutes after local law enforcement were called. Law enforcement in Blacksburg, Virginia, said they received reports about an armed suspect opening fire on campus shortly before 12:30 p.m. local time Thursday. By 12:36, that's 6 minutes later, officials sent out a VT alert notifying the campus of the danger. Virginia Tech officials developed VT alert in 2007 after a gunman killed 32 people on campus before killing himself.
And it prompted similar programs and initiatives in higher ed institutions all over the country, including this one.
Today, I have the pleasure of talking with two representatives of North Carolina Central University, the first being Sergeant Robert McLaughlin, training sergeant and emergency management coordinator who has 28 years experience with the Durham Police Department, and our favorite and many-time guest on this show, Mr. Steve Ornat, chairman of the Emergency Preparedness Task Force.
Hooray.
Let me first of all thank both of you guys for being here today.
Glad to be on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. I want to start off by talking a little bit about the Virginia Tech shooting that took place yesterday. From what we have learned, there were two deaths. One was a Virginia Tech police officer and the other an alleged gunman. What has been the reaction on our campus from students, employees, parents, and administrators to the recent shootings?
Well, as far as the police department, I haven't heard much as far as from the students. I have spoke to some faculty. I was actually in a meeting yesterday when the information came to us through the UNCGA and so forth when we were notified through email that there was something going on at Virginia Tech. Obviously, the police department, we are looking at that very seriously because the incident allegedly stems from just a vehicle stop, and then it escalated to the officer being murdered, and then apparently the suspect committed suicide. So we are obviously concerned about that, and we are, looking to make sure that our officers continue to be trained to safely conduct all traffic stops and not allow themselves to get where a suspect could get an advantage on them.
Yeah, and I don't think I even was aware of this until late. I think we heard about it first on the show. I want to say Tim or somebody put it out, but it wasn't until after this episode was over did we realize what was actually happening. So it's good to see that that our officers were being made aware. In the story that published by the Collegiate Times, we learned that in 2007, Virginia Tech University implemented a system called VT Alert. What has North Carolina Central University done to prepare and protect the campus community for such an event?
Well, I'll talk about that for a second. 2007 was a interesting year with Virginia Tech, and that allowed all the universities, including our GA, to do some testing, do some some task force things, trying to see how the universities were prepared. And then general administration has also purchased some software that we can use to update information and notify folks. So the general administration of the university system really stepped up and pushed out to all the universities some way of contacting. And on our campus, we had a emergency preparedness task force that was created shortly after that, and it's been continuing ever since then. And right now we're meeting monthly, the first Tuesday of every month, and we're doing several things to keep alert of things that are happening on the campus.
So who is involved in that task force? What kind of people are involved in that?
Okay. Well, from the IT perspective, we have a representative from IT, but we have a representative from all areas of the campus. So the main person is the chief of police, Willie Williams, and he and myself are the kind of the co-chairs. But I've been doing a lot of the different things on the task force and trying to coordinate things. When our friend, as he likes to be called, Bonsai, joined the force, he and I have been working together on a lot of different things. So we have representatives from every aspect of the campus. We have risk management, we have academic affairs, we have a student representative, we have, I believe it's 17 different folks that are represented in our emergency task force, and we have two groups that have been created in that on that task force. There's a chancellor's committee we call the EMG, Emergency Management Group, and the chancellor's group is the high level vice chancellors and finance and so forth, administration, that meet and can make decisions on what's to be done as far as policy in university. And then there's the emergency response team that Bonsai and I are on, and that is more the nuts and bolts. You got the physical facility services group. So if there was an active shooter on campus and we needed to kill power to a building to, because of a hostage situation or something like that, we have the facility services there, so they can activate their folks to go ahead and do that, or turn off air conditioning if it's a summertime to whatever. So we have these two groups, and they form the Emergency Operations Center, which is on campus. So that kind of give you a
Well, I
summary
gotta
there?
say, I'm actually really impressed because I didn't realize all of that was actually going on. I knew that there were some things that were happening, so I'm really impressed to see that we have put some really good things into place.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask though, so how successful would you say those efforts are? I recognize we have a couple of units now, the chancellor's unit, we have the operations, the responsive team.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going? How's that working right now?
Well, it's been going real well. One of the things that we've been doing is trying to identify some secure locations on campus that these groups could meet in case there was an emergency. And so we identified, 3 places on campus that have 2 rooms in each one for each group to meet. And we went into those rooms and made sure there was active phone lines so that we can have a conference phone and a private phone so there could be communications between the groups and Durham PD and the sheriff's office and other folks. So we have those phone lines that are set up. We have conference phones and the individual analog phones that are placed in those rooms. We have purchased that equipment for each location, and we're in the process of getting those in the rooms and secured so that you can unlock a cabinet and pull out a projector, a little projector, a portable printer, a conference phone, a speaker phone, and be able to have everything there. The room's been equipped with a display so that we can project, but also a TV so that we can see if it's a national event, some sort of whatever, we would be able to see the news from CNN and places like that. So these rooms now across campus have been configured. We've set them up with all the IT services and other things that we need to be able to do that. Bonza and I have reviewed the rooms recently, and I think we're in good shape on those locations. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Just to add to it, we've also been preparing the staff and so forth. We've been doing incident command training. The entire police department has been through the National Incident Management System training for incident command, all the way through 300 and 400 ICS training, which is for supervisors if they were to set up a command post that would be in a command post if it became a federal event where FEMA would get involved in Homeland Security. They are trained to operate and interact with those entities if they were to respond to our campus, as well as all officers are trained to the basic level of incident command so they can function under that. We're in the process now of developing a course, ICS 402, that all faculty and staff, there's going to be a memo coming out from the Chancellor's office that's going to require all faculty and staff to take this training, to where they will know what the emergency response team is doing, what the Chancellor's group is doing, as well as all the emergency responders coming to the campus, know how their function and role is under incident command, or obviously they're not going to be doing emergency response, but they will probably, in the case of a major event or incident, they're going to have to be able to harden their location, protect themselves, because initially they may have to be on their own, and they're going to be responsible for students and other people that may be on campus that are not employees, to protect them until we as emergency responders can get a hold of the situation.
I was thinking a second ago when you were describing this command center, I was thinking of all those wartime movies where they had these big screens against the wall and you can see everything that's happening on campus right now. And then you got the bat phone in the back, right, with the big like ding, and then the bat thing comes out. So I'm like, wow, where are the tanks at next? I mean, let's roll these bad boys out.
Yeah,
you guys really thought of everything, didn't you?
Yeah,
wow.
we even thinking about emergency power. This building has a backup generator, and so we're going to get emergency power to that room for the lights and the outlets so that we can keep all the equipment charged and running. Because if there was a power issue on campus, we'd still be able to function. So.
Wow. Hey, look, I give you credit for that. It's awesome.
Wow.
I want to change. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that, you talked about how we thought of everything. We pretty much have to prepare for whether it's a natural disaster, man-made disaster, or whatever. So we're looking not only at being able to deal with a hurricane or a tornado like Shaw had to deal with, or we're also looking at active shooter like what occurred at Virginia Tech in 2007, as well as what happened yesterday. Recently at Elizabeth City State, they had a gunman come on campus who was a former student, and the police department there actually had to engage him, and he was injured and taken into custody. So, we have to prepare for any type of emergency, fire, whatever. And so, in doing that, we have to look at being interoperable with the responding agencies, because even though we are a state agency and we are like our own little city here, we don't have the manpower to handle a structure fire in one of the dorms. We need the Durham Fire Department. If we had an active shooter on campus, we're going to need the Durham Police Department, Durham County Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol to come assist us. So those types of things, we have to make sure that we can operate with all those other entities that would come in smoothly, and that we can all work together under the incident command system.
Each other.
Right. Interoperability and all that comes into play.
That's a lot of management, just communication between the different agencies. I want to change gears for a little bit and talk about the technology side of what you guys are doing. And I am aware a little bit about one of those, a peer being one of them. I know there are other ones.
Yeah, that was the web aspect of the whole game. Yeah, sure.
But what can you tell us about the peer system and what's behind that?
Yeah, the peer system, that was one of the things that UNC General Administration as a system said this is an alert system that we're not sort of providing, but they with their task force came up with different types of technologies of how to alert folks, and this system was then chosen, and we are using that system. And so, as Derek mentioned just a second ago, it was initially a web notification thing. So in case, let's say we lost everything, power and everything else, you could go to that website, which is hosted out in your hometown out there in Tacoma.
Yay.
Or somewhere
Yay.
out west there. So, if there was a major hurricane through this area, and, we had no power for 7-8 days like we did back when Hurricane Fran came in 96, that, we'd still have a web presence. That was where it was started. And then as, things grew and people wanted to be able to be communicated directly, with text message and so forth, Peer added those features to it. So we have the ability to send 4 types of messages to the campus. And we did a test in September of our emergency response team to test the functionality again, just to make sure everything was working correctly, and it was very successful. And the 4 messages would be, an email from the peer system to the folks in the groups. Then you have a text to voice, so that's computer generated. It takes the same message and says this is an emergency of the whatever. And
that goes over the phones.
Yep.
So you could type it, then it would go to my office phone.
Right. And we did it to 2 locations. One was the office phone of the people in the list, because when you sign up for emergency notification, you put in your email address, you put in up to 3 phone numbers. One would be your mobile phone, which would be the first, your office phone if you're faculty or staff, and third would be your home phone. And then when you send out a text message, you can elect which phone to send that to. So in our test, we did an email to the person's email, a text to voice to their office phone, and a text to voice to their cell phone. And then we sent a text message, again, the same message to their cell phone, and they received that way. And then what I did is I collected everybody's response and see how long it took them to get the response, and it was within seconds. I know that Sergeant McLaughlin and I were communicating during that time, and it was within less than a minute he had the text message on his cell phone, and others too. So
that's cool.
That worked well. When we first started this back in 2008-9, when some of the texting was taking place, we did some tests, and it took several minutes. Virginia Tech mentioned yesterday, was it 6 minutes afterwards that people were getting messages. That's reasonable with the system we have now.
Wow, well, that's good.
And that's one thing that, if you noticed in the news, it was pointing out that Virginia Tech, their legal staff, was in Washington fighting their fine that they received from the Department of Education over the Cleary Act, where they hadn't, over the 2007 incident. And because it took so long, I think it was up to 2 hours before students were notified. And yesterday they did it in 6 minutes. So that's pretty amazing that they were able to improve that much, and that's something that we've been working very hard at through our group, as well as we've been working very closely with Cindy Faubert in Public Affairs, trying to get this to where we are very proactive in getting the students notified. The most important thing, and I know that we talked about this earlier that you want to discuss, but I just want to go ahead and mention that the big thing is getting the students to buy in, to sign up, because so many of them opt out, and then they don't sign up for the emergency notification when they register, and then if something happens, they're not going to get notified. So we really need the students to go ahead and say it's free to them. The university pays for it, so it's something that could save their life. So they really need to consider signing up for it, and it's something they can even sign up for now, which I'll let Steve talk more about that because it's more technical. But what they need to do to be able to sign into it, to be able to accept those messages.
Now, it's interesting because what if, so we're relying on the students to sign up for these notifications, but let's under the assumption that they don't do it. Are we in any way held liable for not being able to communicate to them even though they didn't do what they were supposed to do?
That's a good question.
Well, as long as we provide the means for them to be notified, plus we have the siren system on campus, and that system is set up not for students that are in buildings and classes. That system is for if you're walking between buildings. It's to notify people that are on the outside. When we tested the sirens back in I think it was August, I tested them. I had a lot of complaints. People were saying, well, I didn't hear what they were saying. I could hear the siren, but I couldn't understand it. But I was in a class in the law building. It's not for you. Hopefully you would receive your notification over your phone telling you what's going on through Peer. And the siren is for that poor person that's trapped outside, and we got a severe weather event coming, and they need to get into a building and seek shelter because a tornado warning has just been given out by National Weather Service, and we're telling everybody seek shelter, which we had that happen too back in September. So we actually had a tornado spotted 4 blocks from here. So those kind of things we're concerned about, and we want people to. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and the weakest link right now is getting everyone to buy in, including employees, to sign up, so they know what's going on. And it's something that employees really need to do, because they may get the message and then have to notify the students that are in their class.
Well, let me talk about that just for a second. We have, students are registering through our ERP system, our banner system, for their classes and everything else. And all faculty and staff are in that system because we're, payrolls and all that stuff done that. So in the IT, with my IT hat on, we are working with the folks to try to extract the information from the banner system and populate peers. So we're going to be doing that, but there'll be a way for students and faculty and staff to sign up and opt in. When students are going through the registration process before they come to campus, the people that are doing the orientation are showing the website and asking them to go ahead and sign up. And so what we see an increase of, 20, 30, 50, 100 students, after there's a registration, because, they're given the opportunity. We're going to be in public. That's one of the things that we do in our emergency task force meeting, is talk about, okay, how we're going to get people to sign up for this. And public relations is going to be sending out some things to the students, to our faculty and staff, saying, well, here, go to this place and sign up.
I wanted. You mentioned earlier about, let's say, the hurricane. I think we had a tornado 4 blocks from here. And I remember being downstairs in the bottom level of this building. Mm-hmm. And the reaction I was getting, people were very impatient. Oh, gosh, do we really have to go through this? And they kept sneaking out the side door trying to see, I don't see anything out here. There's nothing going on out here. Why am I downstairs? Do you find that to be the case across the campus, that they just don't get it, they don't care, or they don't believe it?
I think a lot of times they think we overreact. We had a situation. One of the things we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of fire alarms, and some of them are man-induced, where they are either pulling the alarms or they have done something that's caused the alarms to go off. And I've heard students, when we gave them the all clear to go back in the building, to curse loudly and complain because why'd they make us leave? It's not even a real fire. Well, that same student would be the person trapped that Durham Fire Department would have to rescue because they didn't leave. And, a lot of people have short memories. I remember when I was working for Durham, before I retired, that when Chapel Hill had the big fraternity house fire, and they lost, I think, 6 students. 6, I think they were seniors, that were killed in a off. It was just off campus, but it was a fraternity house fire. And Chapel Hill got the law changed to where all those buildings have to be sprinklered now.
Remember that.
So, people forget that college campuses have a lot of fires, and it happens all the time, especially off campus, but even on campus it could happen. And, my goal is to make everybody aware that when the police department and security is trying to get students to evacuate or move, we're not doing it because we want to. We're doing it because we have to. It's for their safety. And the buy-in from faculty and staff needs to come in first, because if the students hear faculty and staff ignoring it, they're going to ignore it too. And so we really have to change our mindset that when these things happen, when we have to evacuate to the basement, to the lowest part of the building because of a possible tornado. Shaw was only in April, and people are already forgetting. So, and they had 10-story buildings that were damaged. So, we have 2 very tall dorms here. So, glass is glass, and when it's getting blown by a 100-mile-an-hour wind, it's deadly.
That's a good point. So you mentioned earlier that we had a number of tests. We did one in August. I think there was an event, I think, in September, or we did one way or the other. We did a number of tests over the last couple of years. What has been the result of those tests? What are we finding out? What are we learning from those?
Well, the reason you do tests is to find any gaps or holes or whatever. And so one of the results of the last test that I did with our emergency response team was, by sending the text message to a cell phone, when I reviewed the log, because there was a log that said there was, and Pierre's really got some really good tools in there. One was it shows a log of what happened and who was notified and what they did. There was one person that on our tests never received a call, but Pierre said that the call was answered and immediately hung up. I mean, there was that much information from our log. So apparently they didn't hear anything when they first picked up the phone because there was a delay waiting for them to say hello.
Right.
And the Pierre system waited for a response, and it didn't hear anything, and so it waited, and apparently the person said, well, there's nobody there, and hung up. So we saw that, and also there was a couple text messages that were sent to office phones rather than to the cell phones. So what is, as Bonzo and I have spoken before, anytime we do a test, you see little things and you just correct those things. And so now the texting to the phone, I had set up that it's only going to go to the number that's designated as a cell phone, and there was a global command I could do that. So it just gets better, and and you learn by tests, so that's why you do them.
Right, absolutely. I'd like to read a clip from the Atlantic as they describe the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting. It reads, on April 16, 2011, as it Swing Hui Cho, don't get me started, killed two people in a dorm on the Virginia Tech campus. It wasn't until 9:26 a.m., 2 hours later, which you mentioned earlier, it took 2 entire hours, that the university emailed campus with an alert about a shooting incident on the dorm. It didn't say that anyone had been killed, and then within 20 minutes of that email, the first 911 call started coming in reporting shooting in the classroom building where 30 people would eventually die. How prepared would you say we are today for a 2007 Virginia Tech event if it were to happen the same way it happened that day?
Well, I think one thing, our watch commanders, who are the shift supervisors on duty, have the authority, or the acting watch commander, if it's a sergeant, has the authority to set off the sirens, contact communications, have our communications set off the sirens, which in turn we would also make our peer notifications as well and get that out. So I would like to think that we would be just as fast as Virginia Tech was yesterday in getting those first notifications out as soon as we have any violent gun crime. I've also been working closely with Durham Communications, and they are in the process of updating their CAD system to where anything within a 1 mile radius that is a violent crime, including gun crimes, our communications is going to be notified, so they can notify the on-duty squad that there may be a robbery that just occurred on Alston Avenue near 147, or there may be something happening over in McDougal Terrace housing project, anything like that, a barricade situation, anything like that that would potentially impact our campus. We're going to get notified. We're going to have the heads up, and then if it's something that the watch commander deems is a very real threat, he can go ahead and make the notifications, have those things set up, and they would also notify myself and Steve to go ahead and make these peer notifications and get those out.
Okay, I want to play something for you. Virginia Tech issued alerts using text messages, emails, the university website, and even Twitter, as well as the Siren public address system. I want to play a short clip regarding an incident that happened at East Carolina University recently. I mean, just not too long ago. And then I want to talk a little bit about that on the other side. So we're going to play this.
Word spread quickly when East Carolina University went on lockdown this morning. Police scoured the campus for a man with a gun, only to find out that the man that they were looking for had no gun at all. He was carrying an umbrella. WREL's Amanda Lamb is live at ECU with a look at why police are still happy with their response and how they say the situation was blown out of proportion. Amanda?
Deborah, this is the 4th time a North Carolina campus has been on lockdown in less than 10 days. It's something that universities train for. In fact, they had a drill here at ECU just this past August. But leaders at this campus say it's something you can never be completely prepared for. Shortly after 10 o'clock Wednesday morning, East Carolina University students were told the campus was on lockdown. When you first heard that there was a lockdown, what went through your mind?
At first, I didn't know if they were serious or not. That's the first question I asked, are you serious?
They just told us that the doors were going to be locked and we couldn't leave.
How did you feel about that?
I'm anxious.
Investigators tell us 2 calls came into 911 from people who said they saw a man crossing this street with what appeared to be a long gun in his backpack. WRAL obtained this surveillance video from a traffic camera at the intersection that shows the man witnesses reported.
The first thought that came to my mind was Virginia Tech.
60 officers swept the campus, evacuating at least 1 building. They also spun their wheels, following false leads posted on social media sites about threats on buses and hostage situations. The same erroneous leads that were being sent to us.
It caused us to basically, for lack of a better term, chase ghosts.
Just before 1 o'clock, a Pitt County deputy located the man in the video.
The person was not a threat and was not carrying a weapon. The object that the person was carrying was an umbrella.
There's no question but what we'd do it again given the same circumstances. You really have to take every possible threat seriously.
School leaders tell us the lockdown was appropriate given what they knew at the time. What wasn't appropriate? False information posted online.
Information has impact and consequences in the world that we live in, and I hope that would be the message that they would take away from it.
Now, in many situations, online tips can help police. They say in this situation, Facebook and Twitter hampered their efforts and stretched their resources. And of course, the man with the umbrella will not face charges because he didn't break any laws. Deborah?
Amanda Lamb, live at ECU. Thanks.
All right. So the question I wanted to then ask with that is, what are your thoughts then of the use of social networks? And understand we're big users of social networks here, but in light of what we just heard, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, actually, Cindy Faubert with Public Affairs, she would actually utilize Facebook and Twitter as well for emergency notification. So that would be an official statement coming from the university if we were to have an incident. I think that would help combat a lot of the false Twitter information and Facebook information that was going out, because it'd be an official statement from the university. My thing is, if you think you see a threat, why are you Twittering? Why don't you get on the phone and call 911? So instead
That's a great question, and I think the idea is that it's a generational thing. The modes of communication are changing. Damon's not going to do that. At least he's not going to do that initially. Knowing him like I do, he's gonna tweet it first and expect action to be taken from there. Whereas I am considerably older than he is. I'm going to pick up the phone and call, and it may very well be that I got to go to the campus directory to get the number. But that would be my first impulse.
Right, and see, that's the good thing about our 911 and our 6106 system. If you call 6106 and it's off campus, we have a ring down with Durham PD. We send the call to them, and vice versa.
Oh, cool.
If they get a 911 call and it's to us, they forward it to our communication. So, and that happens immediately within a minute of realizing where the call is. They immediately ring it down, and they stay on the line till they know that person is picked up with one of our communicators and the call has been effectively transferred.
So it works both ways.
Right. It goes up
regardless of source and destination.
Right.
Cool.
So if a student calls 6106 and then they find out, we can send it to the city. If a person calls 911 from their cell phone and they get the city can transfer it to us.
Okay. Now, for those, I'm kind of winding down. I know we have just a few minutes more. For those students and employees that are listening right now to this, and understand that we're going to share this link, we're going to share this all the ways that I know how to share, so that the students and the employees and even other institutions can hear this. But I want to start first with, what is it that you want our students and employees to know right now?
Well, we talked about the emergency site, so we need folks to sign up for it. And we haven't sent out a media blitz. And
by sign up, you're really saying opt in?
Opt in, yeah.
I thought that was a clarification worth making.
Thank you. And it's real easy, because if you go to our website And right on the top page, right by the picture, there's a thing that says emergency website. And you click on that, and you guys, the web team has done a nice job with the site that comes up that has a picture of a cell phone sitting there, and you click. It says click here for sign up, and when you click on that, you're actually leaving NCCU's webpage and you're signing up on the peer site. And at that point, you put in your email and your cell phone, and you sign up for the list, and you're there. So anybody can do that now. We have over 1,000 students that have signed up, and we have about 300 and so faculty staff that have signed up, and not a high percentage, but through this show that we're doing now, and then the other media stuff that we'll be sending out, we'll see a lot more sign up. So that's number one. I wanted everybody to know, and they can do right now.
Okay, and for high schools, I mean, we saw, I think, around Fayetteville, a young lady got shot by those two boys. High schools, colleges, universities, who might be interested in doing what it is that we're doing. What advice or tips would you give those administrators?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to interact with your local law enforcement and be prepared for anything that could happen. The first time the law enforcement gets there, whether it's sheriff's department or police department, when they get there, it should not be the first for a call. Is not the first time they should be there. They should be familiar with that building, walkthroughs, run exercises. We've done 2 active shooter exercises here on campus. Before I retired from the police department in Durham, we ran two scenarios over here. Before I retired from Durham, we did 2 at Duke. So we have done them in different schools around the city. We also earlier this year, after I first came to work here, the city was conducting active shooter training down at Hillside High School, and Central, we sent our officers down there to train with city officers in the high school, because if they had a situation happen that close, we would probably go assist them. So, our officers need to be familiar with schools in our area. We have Fayetteville Street School right here, just below the campus, a few blocks below the campus. So, if they had a situation happen, our officers would probably be the first ones there. So it's important that we interact with each other that way. The big thing is, of course, with students and faculty, is that they've got to understand that we're not doing this just to do it. That when we do this training, when we do exercises, and then when we actually have to respond to something, and we're given directions, we're given orders, then they need to follow them, because their life probably depends on it.
Absolutely. Now, there are a lot of people who are not necessarily in the higher education system, but they might be interested in just getting more information about this initiative that you guys are working on. Is there a place where they can go to see all the details, some of the progress that you guys are making? I noticed that there was a report that the campus police office puts out, sort of an overview. But is there a place that they can go online to kind of get a sense of, hey, this is where we are in our effort?
The police department has a website as well, and they have a section on there that deals with campus shootings, an active shooter. They can students as well as other individuals can go there and be educated in how we would respond. And one thing we mentioned earlier about high schools and public schools, an advantage they have over a university is that they have intercom systems. We don't have that.
Oh, right.
We have so many businesses or buildings that are separated. There's no way to have an intercom system. That's why the peer notification is so important.
Right.
Because at least in the school, they can announce it over their intercom system. In a public school, and all the teachers, faculty, and staff are notified.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to first of all say thank you to both of you, and thank you for spending this last 40 minutes or so talking to us about this. And if someone is interested in getting in contact with you or getting more information, where would they reach you?
Well, Steve Ornat, just my email is steveo@nccu.edu.
STEVEO.
Thank you. And McLaughlin.
And mine is RMCLAUG7 at nccu.edu.
Excellent.
Or use the directory.
You could use that right here on nccu.edu. So thank you again, Sergeant McLaughlin and Mr. Steve Ornat, for all of you out there. Thank you for hanging out with us. Also want to thank all of you for hanging out with us this last hour as well.
Did a public affairs show.
Don't forget, we are here every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Blog Talk Radio. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. This will also be available live on YouTube. In the higher quality over at youtube.com/Damond Nollan. It's going to do it for us, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. We'll see you guys on Monday. Until then, Mike Render.
Deuces.
Deuces.
It's Friday.